The basics of hardware part means what are the hardware components, what is the work of those hardware components. You see, I will give you one overview what we are see in this hardware part. Okay, it will take 2 days, means 2 classes separately. So what are the different hardware components, main important components, like what is CPU, RAM, ROM, BIOS, motherboard, hard disk, SSDs, SMPS kind of stuff. Okay, and of course we know the connectivity to our computer, those components. What is a cabinet? What is CPU? How it is look like? What is a heat sink? What is the use of heat sink on a processor? Importance of it. Okay, so different measurements, like what is the thing we can see in a CPU, like a speed of CPU, number of cores, number of threads. Okay, what is their cache memories? Different manufacturer, 32-bit, 64 differences, RAM and ROM differences. RAM and ROM. What is RAM? Different type of RAMs and different things about RAM. Okay, and how the RAM, where is the place of RAM? Stuff. ROM means what is read-only memory. ROM is a read-only memory. What is ROM? BIOS. What is BIOS settings? It is a BIOS settings. What is the use of this BIOS battery or a CMOS battery? Guys, one point I'm telling now only, guys. CMOS battery, people are calling it as a CMOS battery, just a name only. Okay. Never think it is made up of CMOS technology. It is a lithium battery. Okay, battery is a lithium battery. Like you have a battery, like pencils kind of stuff, right? Lot of batteries are there. There are made up of lithium compound or a different compounds. This is lithium compound. Okay, CMOS is a technology. So how ICs chips manufacture using CMOS technology. Okay, but name is like that one only. So I will tell why it is called as that one. Different CMOS error, how to go to BIOS settings. Okay, and what is motherboard? Motherboard slots, connectivity, SMPS connectivity, storage devices like a secondary storage devices, and in that one mainly what is hard disk connectivities, and SSD, then hard disk partitions, GPT, MBR. This is about SSDs. Then also we can see what is boot processing. This part, if possible, I will try to cover up this part. This is specifically, guys, it is in booting, at time of boot. If you are, if some issue is there, so in particular stage, what is the issue? What kind of error? So what is the most possible device or issue we can understand? And I'm directly sharing this link to you now only. So this is what we are going to learn about the hardware. So first of all, what is a computer? I don't give any definitions. What is C, what is O, what is M kind of stuff. Okay, computer. So that is very layman time. Like a compute means calculations. Okay, so compute means calculations. So the word came from there only. This is a traditional block diagram. You can see there is a CPU and input, output, and memory. It's a traditional block diagram only. So you have input devices. So you give input to the CPU process it and generate output. Output will may store in memories or it will show on the monitor is a input device. Different type of input devices are there, but keyboard is a primary input device. standard input device, and standard output device is monitor only. Without seeing at computer, you cannot do anything. So we need a display monitor kind of stuff. Memory. So like generally we talk in a memory means primary memories, RAM and ROM is important. So we have seen this component, guys. So in computer, if it is a computer, compulsory there is a processor. Processor. This processor also we call it as a CPU, central processing, and there is a RAM, ROM, motherboard, hard disk, CD, DVDs, SMPS, floppy disk kind of stuff. The system. You see, this is a cabinet or chassis. Some people, even though they done a M.Tech in a computer science, they call this one as a CPU. I don't know why. That's why it's a cabinet, means the box it is, the box we call it as a cabinet. CPU is a small chip inside. So we should not call this box as a CPU. It is a cabinet or chassis. Okay. This is CPU. This is CPU. How small it is, you can see that is a chip. If you see in this picture, so he is inserting the CPU on the motherboard. CPU is a central processing unit. Central processing unit, also called as processor. It performs arithmetic and logical function. Performs arithmetic and logical functions. What is arithmetic, logical? That is just what is CPU. But if you see a CPU, like you purchase a CPU or you want to purchase a CPU, know about your CPU. This is my CPU, right? i5-3230M, or I want to buy a new processor. You know, a lot of people still trying to learn things from the tech blogs. At least first start with e-commerce sites, Amazon, Flipkart. You will get at least some base knowledge of it, how computers are there. This is laptops, so we can go to desktops or components. I'll go to desktops. Laptop or desktop, only few differences, guys. Basically, so you can build your own laptop kind of desktop. Where is that option is removed? Okay, so Natanya and Chayaravat. Where is this name? Hey, present. Present, I thought you are already logging. Already given a present because I've seen your name when I start joining them. So here it is, see, i5 200, it is a second generation i5. Better it is go to laptops. Okay. Take laptop part also. You can see any laptop or a desktop. Take some laptop. You can see there is a processor with a number. Okay. So I'm copying this processor with this number and searching in a Google. You can see Intel website. This is also Intel site only. Ask.intel.in or intel.in. Go to this processor. You can get the details of your processor. You can see here it is the processor number. So around cost It's a 2-core, 4 threads processor. It is a i3 processor, right? It is a 11th generation anyway. But you can see, so 2-core processor, 4 thread. What is core? If you put a question, you can see it is. Core is a hardware term that describes the number of independent central processing unit in a single computing component, die or a chip. In one single chip, how many processors are there? 2. Threads in the same 2, it is again hyper-threading concept. It is logical processors. 4 logical processor, 2 core processor. This is the turbo frequency. Original frequency is this is 3 gigahertz processor. 3 gigahertz processor it is. It support up to 64 GB RAM. So your maximum RAM capacity supported by this processor is 64. Memory types. So what type of memory it will support? DDR4 and 3230M model of RAM is there. For example, I purchase that processor. Okay, then I have to purchase this RAM. For example, I want to extend the RAM, so or I want to add more RAM, or I want to replace the RAM. The RAM, this model, I have to use it. For example, this is 8 GB RAM it is showing. This is 3230. Sorry, 3200 megahertz DDR4. Who is telling? This is telling. Okay, 2 channels memory, and internal graphics are this type of graphics, UHD graphics for a 11th generation Dell processor. Some other details. Okay, some other details and your package details. So one more is compulsory. Check it, guys. What is? There must be a virtualization technology. Yes, must be a virtualization technologies. Yes, okay. And it is a 64-bit. Instruction set is 64-bit. If you have a doubt, then you can click on this question mark. It will give you some information. Read it compulsory. Compulsory sit and read, you learn. Otherwise, it's something like it is there. That's it. Okay. 6 MB cache memory. Contains a 6 MB cache memory. So, what are the things we have seen from this processor? It is. So, where is it? Our processor. Speed of the processor. To check the what is the clock speed of the processor. Is it 32-bit or 64-bit processor? What is their FSB? FSB means RAM requirement. RAM model, which is 3200 or 2666 or a 2400. Which model it is? Which type of RAM it is suitable by FSB? Cache memory. So how much in the cache memory? Better, more cache memory, better performance type. Okay. So it is a L3 cache memory mainly we are checking. I open this one, right? Here it is. Please also tell what is the cache memory. So L3 cache memory 6 MB, L3 cache memory 4.1 gigahertz processor, Intel Turbo Boost Technologies, 2-core processor it is, and memory it is DDR4 3230, sorry 3200 SD RAM, DDR4 RAM, and then there is a SSD inside. When you want to buy a laptop or a desktop, compulsory check these things like a CPU properties kind of stuff. Number of cores, number of threads are a logical processors. And make sure that is Intel virtualization technology. The virtualization technology is available inside or not. Is it web enabled or it is available? Or sometimes you purchase a laptop with some very big configuration and you purchased it. It's i7 processor something. It is. But internally, internal virtualization is not there in future. When you want to run virtual machines kind of stuff, it won't support. Okay? So better Take this. Nowadays, all are 64, and almost all new one is having a virtualization technology built inside. Different manufacturers of CPU is there, guys. Intel, AMD, and via Motorola. Now, for a different type of devices, also different type of processors are there. Mainly, if you check in a mobile phones, MediaTek is there. Dominos or Dimension, something is there. New one is came. Qualcomm, a Snapdragon, that is more popular, right? Xenos, Xenos kind of stuff. Samsung processor. Okay. Different processors are in the market, but for a computer, there is only two in competition. That is Intel. Another one is AMD. Yes, understanding what is CPU, how it is look like, and what are the specifications of a processor or a properties of a processor. Properties means specifications of processor. Understanding or not?
అది ఇట్లా క్లినికల్
ఇంకోటి ఏమో వచ్చిందేమో నా భయ్య.
వినబడట్లేదా?
చెప్పట్లేదు అర్థమైందని అంటే guys are you able to hear? 17. Okay. Guys, you have to keep responding. Already I told my laptop has a very big problem. It's a psycho type of problem. When it will stop, when it will be muted automatically, I don't know. Okay. If I ask like understand or not understand, tell something. If you keep responding, I can understand. My system is also working. Okay, no, it is not disconnected. At least to list. Okay, guys, in a processor, we have a 32-bit processor, 64-bit processor. You know, the first processor from Intel is 4-bit processor. Okay, so a lot of developments, then 32-bit, now it is 64-bit processor. Okay, different type of processors are released into the market. Most of the Intel processors are 32-bit earlier. So later Intel also came into this 64 business.
अरे भैया बहुत ऑफ कर बेटा मैडम चले बेटा
మార్నింగ్ మ్యాచ్ పరిస్థితి బట్టి మారుద్దాం. నేను చెప్తాను, మనం మాట్లాడతాను. నేను బ్యాచెస్ schedule చేస్తాను. Okay, sorry. Are you able to hear now? Okay. Guys, it's a 32-bit processor, 64-bit processor. If you have a 32-bit processor, means your operating system also 32-bit. The device drivers must be 32-bit. And when you are installing an application also must be 32-bit only. If your processor is 64-bit, then your operating system must be 64-bit. Device drivers must be 64-bit. Applications, what are the applications you are using, that is also 64-bit only. Of course, in few Windows operating system like Windows 8 and Windows 10, you can use both 32-bit and as well as a 64-bit on a 64-bit machine. 64-bit on 64-bit machine, 32-bit application, 64-bit application also works in Windows 8 and Windows 10. Okay, of course, maybe Windows 11 also. Okay, but compulsory you have to maintain these are the same processor. 32 means 32-bit OS, 32-bit device drivers. 64-bit, 64-bit operating system, 64 device drivers, and your processor is of course 64. Okay, so if you see in an application or an operating system, how to understand it is a 32-bit or a 64-bit? There is an indication. Generally, there is an indication. It will tell at the end of the package it is 32-bit, or it shows x86 or i386, i586. These are all representation of 32-bit. Guys, 86 represent Intel. 86 represent Intel processor. Okay. So for 64-bit, again 64-bit or x86 64 means Intel 64. This is Intel 32-bit, Intel 64. 64 AMD processor side 64. Okay. Sometimes there is an application I downloaded and I try to install into a PC. An application telling it is AMD 64 means it works in a AMD 64-bit processor only. But in generally most of the applications works in both Intel and AMD. Mostly it is compatible. Asking, I join now and given attendance, but what are the people I given in attendance? Most of them are left. Okay. Next, yes, what is the use of this 64? So 64 is a recently from last 5-6 years, maybe more than 6 years. Almost all computers are a 64-bit processors only. All are mostly we are getting a 64-bit processors. What is the advantage of this 64-bit processor? Instruction set, okay, is a 64-bit. In 64-bit processor, instruction set is 64. Somewhere this dot kind of stuff, somewhere it is gone up. Instruction set is 64 means your instruction means what are the processor you are giving an instruction to do something, that instructions and the data, each data word or a word size is 64-bit. Okay, so it is a another point is here we can give complex instructions and also we can process big size data. Okay, big size data also we can able to process it. We can run complex instructions. We can run complex instructions. Complex instructions. So more multi-core possibilities are there. So multi-core processing is improved a lot. This one. Okay. So of course it is a UEFI support will improve. UEFI support. What is UEFI? It's a new version of BIOS or update version of BIOS. It is a update version of BIOS or a new version of BIOS. Because of this UEFI, you will get a secure boot. You will get a secure boot. Compulsory device drivers, digital signature must be maintained. Next, you will get a virtualization technologies. You will get a virtualization technologies. You can see here it is virtualization technology is possible. What is this virtualization technology? You can run multiple type of guest operating system in a single physical machine. What is a guest operating system? Operating system. So you can put it like a, what is the guest OS? Means OS in virtual machine is called guest OS. OS in the virtual machine. What is meant by host OS? So OS in your physical machine. My laptop contains Windows 10. That is host OS. In my virtual machine, I have a Linux or Windows 10 or Windows Server or Windows XP or Windows 7. Okay, so Windows Server operating system in the virtual machines. So that is a guest operating system. Okay, understand, guys? Now, why people are not at all speaking? Normally, if people are speak, no? So something you will tell. Why no one is speaking anything? All people are doing some work or what?
How to differentiate between 32 bit and 34 bit, like here wise are some
But it is
32 bit and 64 bit difference.
okay. I will tell again. Okay, so if you take a processor, it can be a 32-bit processor or it can be a 64-bit processor. Generally, we can purchase a computer like we'll buy last time 3 to the i3 processor. This is a i3 processor. You can if you want to buy a i3 processor, first, so which processor it is, 32-bit processor or a 64-bit processor, we should know it. Because 4-core 8-thread processor it is, 10th generation F model. Then if you go to this model and try in a place, then you will know what is the processor type. All other details you will find it anyway. Of course, it is a 64-bit processor. Intel 64-bit type of processor it is. Instruction sets are 64. My main point is, so only on the 32-bit and 64-bit. So 64-bit processors having certain features compared to 32-bit. In generally, we can say not as a feature, but also we have to tell about that 64 is 64 or 32-bit. Their instruction set is the same as the bit, like a 32-bit processor process. The instruction size is 32-bit. Data size is also 32-bit only. In a 64-bit processor, the data and instruction size is 64-bit. So size of instruction increases means you can give more complex, very big instructions also. Multiple instructions or big instructions you can able to give. Okay. Big size data we can easily fit into the registries and we can able to do the processing. Okay. Yes, does not mean 32 is slow, 64 is fast. No, it is not like that. Okay. But comparatively more complex, big instructions, big data, we can deal it. So every processor, every bit, so having their dedicated sizes. Multi-core processor is also possible. Nowadays we are getting 2-core processor, 4-core processor, 4 logical processor, 8 logical processor kind of stuff. It is possible with a more about a 64. Generally, recently we are getting 64-bit processor. Most of our 64-bit, we are getting a UEFI with it. Okay, so very recent all processors support UEFI. It is not UEFI processor, it support UEFI feature. It is nothing but a BIOS chip. So when we are talking about RAM ROM, then we can discuss about it. Secure boot is possible. Device drivers, digital signature enforcement is compulsory. Okay, we can run multiple operating systems in a single system via using a virtual machines. Okay, virtualization technology is there, and some more points I didn't add here, so I'm going to add again. Because of it is executing complex instructions and processing big data kind of stuff. The big data it can able to process. Generally, it required more general compared to 32-bit. It required more RAM and disk space. Required more RAM and disk space. RAM and disk space. Okay, so I'm giving you an example here. For example, if you take Windows 10, okay, to install a Windows 10, whatever it is, to minimum requirement I'm writing here is 32-bit system required 1 GB RAM, 1 GB RAM, 16 GB hard disk space. No, 64 bit type of installation required minimum 2 GB RAM, 20 GB hard disk space. Okay. So that is another thing, keep it in mind. I will change a little pattern here. Okay, so your processor is 32-bit, means your device drivers operating system compulsory 32-bit. Okay, applications can be same bit or lower. Okay, so depends, it depends. I will write here separately. Okay, that is the difference between 32-bit and 64-bit, means 64-bit related things. Okay, so if you have an operating system or an application, you want to know how it is represent, means like this. Guys, always remember x86 means Intel. x86 means Intel. 64-bit x86 underscore 64. x86 32-bit x86 underscore 64. Generally it is 64-bit Intel processor related. AMD 64 is AMD 64. 64-bit processor. Sometimes people use in different way also. So nowadays it is compulsory to represent an application or an operating system. So the compulsory is 32-bit or 64-bit. Better to use always same bit applications. Means 32-bit processor, 32-bit operating system, 32-bit application. 64-bit processor, 64-bit operating system, 64-bit. Okay. The last one I am telling you about a processor. Then I will give you a small break. Then we will come back. Guys, every processor is a small chip like this, right? 2 points I will tell. This is one important lesson. So every processor, this is the processor. Processor receive lot of instructions, do processing and do all these things, right? So processor is the brain of computer. If you do too much of work, what happen? Processor will get heated. Even you start a computer, automatically processor start working, processor will get heated. If it is getting overheated, if processor get a overheated, what happen? Processor will burn. Processor will burn automatically. Processor is burn automatically. Point number one. Okay. So what it will do? What we will do? Processor is getting heated. Okay. The heat symbol. If processor is getting heated, processor will burn. Right? Processor is very costly. So what they will do? People put a one heat sink on it. Not only a desktop, guys, laptop also having a heat sink. People put a heat sink on it. What is this heat sink will do? Heat sink will absorb the heat from the processor. heat sink. Okay, so I will show you the pictures. See how different type of heat sinks are there. This is also heat sinks. This is on processor heat sink type, but this is on chip heat sink type. It is not very south bridge kind of stuff. This is also a heat sink, but this heat sink having a fan on it, more powerful than this normal heat sinks. See it is. It symbolize. See it is. There is a gaps. See this is places are there. What happened? Heat sink will absorb the heat. Heat sink absorb the heat, and there is a gaps. So air is flowing through this gaps. So then heat sink will get cool. Okay. Processor producing lot of heat. Heat sink absorb the heat because of that cooling system. So because of that air cooling, the heat sink will be cool automatically. And of course, every heat sink non-processor heat sink type having a fan assembly. What is this fan? Fan is for an exhausting fan kind of stuff. Try to cool your things. There is two types are there. One is blowing cool air to heat sink. Another one is take out the heat sink from take out the heat from heat sink, like an exhaust fan. In our home, the fan is normally our fan is to blow the air to towards you, right? So that is the fan to blow forcibly the air. In a kitchen, so if you see there is an exhaust fan in top because in a kitchen lot of heat is generated, lot of smoke is generated, exhaust the entire thing to out. So this is okay, see how it is. The bottom one is a processor, there is a heat sink and there is a fan. Okay, one more is there guys, that is called a heat sink paste. This heat sink paste is applied on the processor. This is a heat sink paste. This paste is applied on the processor. On top of this, we have a heat sink. What is the advantage of doing that one? Like this. So apply a heat sink paste and then put a your heat sink. Okay, guys, these dabbas, the heat sink paste, the starting price is 10 rupees. Starting price is 10 rupees only. If you go to any computer shop or a computer marketplaces, then you may find it as cheap. Okay. Next one is again what is the use of this heat sink paste? What is the use of this heat sink paste? So it will make a more contact between this processor and heat sink. It will make a more contact between this processor and heat sink. So the gaps, the mechanical gaps will be reduced. The processor will gain more heat from from processor. Heat sink will gain more heat. So then we can able to maintain proper temperature on this processor. Okay, why I'm telling that much? Because a lot of people don't know this. They do some few things, then processor is getting more heat. One issue is there. That's why I'm telling. Look at here, guys. If in case you didn't put your heat sink properly, you don't put a heat sink properly. The installation of heat sink is wrong. The heat sink paste is cleaned. Cleaned means while you are doing some testing and accidentally you clean that heat sink paste and you didn't apply again. Possibilities there. Dust formation on the heat sink fan, surroundings of your processor, dust formation. Heatsink is not sitting properly. Heatsink paste is cleaned or not applied properly. Heatsink got full of dust. Heatsink fan is full of dust. In that cases, processor will get heated. Processor will get a, processor is getting heated. System thinks as processor is getting heated, is crossing the temperature limit. Processor is crossing the given temperature limit. System immediately restart itself. So when you see a computer, you start a computer running and suddenly it is restarted. There is several reasons are there. There is a several reasons are there. One is like a power action. Second one is a BSOD, blue screen of death. These two conditions, so it is restarted. In generally not because of power connectivity. Generally, so one there is few percentage is there, but not 100% because of power connectivity or a blue screen of death. Blue screen of death will show the error on the screen. Blue screen. Okay. There is a BSOD screen is there. BSOD. If you go to blue screen, so you can able to see this screen on your machine. Then only it is restarted, not simple restart. So system is started. Either it is starting time or maybe after running 5 minutes, 10 minutes, it will restart automatically. Why it is restarting? There is a possibility each processor is getting overheated. How do you know it is overheated? Go to BIOS settings. Then you may know processor heat. Okay. So of course, processor is getting overheated. Maybe because of improper installation of heatsink, dust in the heatsink. Okay, dust in the fan or fan is not running. Heatsink paste is not applied properly. Okay. So to protect your processor from getting overheated, system is restarting itself. Then what to do? If you think that is the problem, then you have to go to open the cabinet, go to your processor, check the heat sink and the heat sink fan, heat sink, fan. If dust is there, clean the dust. If heat sink paste is cleaned, then apply the heat sink paste and put a heat sink on it and run the fan on it. Okay, so this is what about a heat sink. Not completed, guys. I will show you one more tip. That's why I'm telling this one. Laptop also having a heat sinks. Laptop heat sinks. But assembly is different. So you can see this is laptop heat sinks. Okay. So this is the processor where processor, north bridge kind of stuff under these things. Okay. Then the heat is absorbed by this heat sink, transfer through these copper rods. This copper rod is heat passes through here and through fan the heat will go outside. You look at here. If in case any dust formation on this under the fan or on this one, so what happened? Your heat is cannot go outside. The heat will spread it to inside of the system. Why? Because of laptops are having very less space in surrounding. Okay. So in a olden days, laptops are a very thick laptops. Thick lap means size is bigger, uh, so no more ventilation. So my tip is, guys, never put your laptop on bed. Lot of people put a laptop on the bed. So why we are calling desktop, laptop kind of stuff? Desktop we can put it on a desk. on desk. On desk, you can put a system that is a desktop. You can put a system on your lap. So that's why it is laptop. You can hold a computer in your hand. It's palm top. Now the palm tops are gone. Now we are getting this tabs and mobile phones. Yes, right? Now whatever it is, point is, do not place your laptop on your lap. Means mainly don't put on any cloth kind of surfaces. Second one is some people put it on papers. Do not put a paper also. Now paper is also not suggestible. Use some plain surface area. Okay, mostly try to put it on a table, plain area. Table mates kind of stuff also okay, but make sure plain area. And do not place any objects surrounding to your laptop. Mainly check the ventilation. Do not close the ventilations. So when I said do not put your laptop on a lap or a bed, the cloth is closes the ventilation vents. The heat cannot able to escape from your laptop to outside. Laptop to outside. So that is the point. It is a dual fan system. It is. Okay. Sometimes it is dust will be found. Once you purchase a laptop, it is very old laptop, for example, 2 years, 3 years completed, so warranty is expired. Now what is the now it is a chance to open and try to clean properly. So you have to open clean properly also, guys. So if you know you can do it, otherwise please leave it also. But cleaning of dust is also will give you is better. Okay. Yeah, you can put it on any external kind of stuff. Some people buy this kind of heat sink fans kind of stuff. This kind of cooling system not required. Very simple, my brother told me instead of purchasing this heat sink kind of stuff, this kind of under fan kind of stuff, put it in a put it on a one egg tray. Okay, so you purchase a 30 eggs. The tray is there, no big tray. So if you put it on a egg tray, it works better. He's doing some other. Okay, so this is closing the area, not giving free time place to the vents. So it's compared to this kind of fan, not required this kind of fan, guys. Put your laptop in a closed areas. Use this kind of part. This is good because you are getting more empty space under it, free space. So this is a vent side. Back side is a vent side. Do not close those kind of vent sides. Don't put any objects in the airflow. That's it for a processor, guys. Next one I will tell about RAM and as well as a ROM also after small break. Okay, and do not leave. Okay, so be there. So just if you leave also join in a 15 minutes.